Hey, good afternoon, everybody, or good late morning to some of us. All right, so we are into, again, I love it, as some people show, some people don't. We're into a small week because Betsy is in the middle of a major recruiting dinner or lunch or something, and doing something great for her business. So that's awesome. And Steve Devine, I believe, is on an appointment. So we may not have some of them or their team on. So I like this group. This is a good mix. Eric, Mohammed, Shelly, Jean. You guys all doing great today, I hope. Excellent. Let me see what I wanted to go through. And actually, this is a perfect group. How many of you guys, and Mohammed, you may want to make sure that Alice gets on. Mohammed, congrats. I think I called it out last week, but Mohammed recruited a new agent who's already written business with Columbus Life, mostly focused on advanced markets. But guys, whatever you're focused in, and I know most here are focused in mortgage protection for the most part, with the exception of Mohammed, who is specifically DFL IUL. Whatever you're doing, the closer you can get to Symmetry, what's behind the scenes, the infrastructure, the technology, the better off you're going to be. Whether you feel it has anything to do with the business or not, just getting around the fire and being able to understand what's possible here is so important to generating success. So I say that as a lead into, and I'm not judging, I'm not shaming. It's not, I'm here for you guys and whatever you want to accomplish, but I also want to be a good guide, right? So how many of you have at least started your summit journey on the website? Excellent. Dominic, have you started Summit? I think you have. He just jumped in, so maybe he didn't.
Yeah, I started a little bit of it.
Okay, great. A little bit of it. You smirked when you said that, like you know you should be doing it.
Yeah, same here too. Just a little bit of it.
All right. Well, let's see if we can do a lot of it, guys, because again, it's especially if you're business minded and you're looking at growing a business here. Remember, this isn't for you. Well, it is. I should say it's as much for you as it is your business. Whether you're actively growing one now, or you're planning on growing one, or you just want to be the best that you can be as a solo producer. Any and all are a great fit for Symmetry because they have tracks for every one of us. But I started my summit journey and I love it. I think this is groundbreaking training that no other IMO in the country has. So take advantage of it for yourself. Let me or your direct know if you're having any issues with it. I think you guys all pretty much come to me directly anyway. So anything that you run into that you're like, I'm not understanding this or something like that, that's okay. And I know there are some points within in which you're required to do an activity before you can proceed, right? Like collect an override, I think is one of the major benchmarks. So it's definitely all encompassing. It has to do with growing a business as much as producing. And take that challenge for what it is. When you reach that benchmark, go out there and find a wingman or wingwoman to do this with you. Maybe it's even a spouse or a domestic partner that you get involved. But the reason they've laid this out is you guys all know they've spent millions of dollars on R&D, research and development, to not only give us the infrastructure necessary for success, but the reasoning behind it. So this isn't guesswork. They put those benchmarks in there because they've studied every single success and failure at Symmetry from inception to date, and they know exactly what it looks like to create a successful path here. So, and that's why they call it Summit. You guys read that book a couple months ago, and if you didn't, I highly recommend picking it up, even though I can't think of the name of it right now. What was the book we just read by it was Brian Williamson's old partner from Giant.
Squeaky Wheel.
No, before that, the Mount Everest one.
Hunter, ex-leader.
Thank you. Yes.
It's not because I read them. I just still have them in my office so I can read the titles. The books are here haunting me.
Exactly. I've got a bookshelf like that too. But you know what, guys? I love that you joke about it because it's a lead-in too. Read that book. It was very inspiring. And Symmetry is obviously modeling their new training after that book. A lot of you were not at the conference that Dominic and I think Dominic and I were the only ones at the conference in which they presented. It was Brian Williamson before he came on board, and his partner, who I failed to remember his name, but he was the author of that book. They ran a company called Giant. They were a major leadership development company throughout the US, and Symmetry, lured Brian over because of it was just such a great fit, right? But they talked about what it takes to climb Mount Everest and what it means to be a Sherpa, because you can't climb Mount Everest. No one has without a Sherpa, right? I believe without the help of a Sherpa, because they live there. They were born in that climate. They can breathe in that climate, and they can get to the top because over many years, they've developed a system that allows them to facilitate that climb. So if any one of us want to go climb Mount Everest, we need one of them to guide us. And there are certain benchmarks along the way to Mount Everest called camps that you must stop at, reset, reassess, and do something new. So again, if you haven't read that one, I would pick it up and just and read it. I know we're reading The Happiness Advantage right now, which is a fantastic book. I think this is the second time we've assigned this book. If you only have time for one, definitely read the book of the month, but I would try to make time for that other book. And if you've already read Happiness Advantage and you didn't read 100X Leader, you might want to just pick that one up instead, is my advice, because it goes so well with what Symmetry's launching right now. So just want to challenge all of you to get through Summit. It's a work in progress. If you ever hit a stumbling block or see a mistake, don't be sad about that. Be proactive. Get a support ticket in, and they will change it as soon as within the hour. That's how closely they're monitoring these things. And I know we discussed that a little bit last week, but I really just wanted to hit on that point, guys. And also, it's maybe a little early, but I don't think it's ever too early to promote conference. The conference registration is back up and running. So I would get, if you didn't get an email saying you are registered, because if you registered before, you're re-registered now, so long as you paid for it. But if you didn't get that confirmation email, make sure that you are registered. And if you're not, get registered. You can reserve a room at the Hyatt without paying for it. So remember, the one that's closest is gonna sell out first. And let me give you the link, because the one thing they have so much technology, it's hard to find some of this stuff. But once you've registered, check out the chat window. I put a link in there for the hotels, and they've got 4 different Hyatts. Some are a couple blocks away. It's going to be beautiful in Denver. Yes, Shelly, we could speak right after. But there's one Hyatt that's super close. I mean, right next door. So if you want to get, proximity, get in there now, because that's the one that everybody's going to be getting. I reserved mine yesterday again, because I canceled mine when conference got postponed, and now I just re-reserved. You don't have to pay a penny. It'll show the price. You'll put in your card. They will not charge it. They're just going to reserve the hotel. So rest assured, I would just get the room. An act of God, comes up, you can't make it, you can cancel it within 72 hours of the stay date. But don't plan on canceling. Don't put that in your head. Just be ready to get there. We're going to have a lot of fun. Guys, because it's a smaller group, and I'd love to open this up for Q&A, general Q&A. Do you guys have anything burning that you're having issues with, that you'd like some support on? You have questions about? I'd love to just give you guys, if they are present, 10 to 15 minutes of some open Q&A here, if you like. Anyone have anything they want to discuss?
Yes.
Yes.
Very word.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead.
There is apparently some folks that are setting some stuff on LinkedIn to start attracting some folks. I'm kind of in a spot where I could leverage that economical resource until I get my other recruiting funnel reset. So if anybody
Great.
knows how to do that, I'd like to request some help. And if somebody can help me, once I know how to do it, I'm willing to help anybody. If there's not one in this circle, I'll find one, and then I'll let everybody know that I figured it out and that I'm willing to help people.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're looking to temporarily recruit on LinkedIn. Is that right?
Temporarily or permanently, there's nothing to say I
Okay.
can't recruit in two places.
I have some great tips on that. I'm exclusively outside of my warm market. That's what I'm using exclusively right now. So
Okay.
by all means, we can dive right in and I'll show you how to do it, Eric. Shelly and I went through this a couple weeks ago, and she's already had a couple interviews and even a couple of one definite hire and one potential hire so far. So LinkedIn recruiting, what I love about it is you're going to get maybe less hits than normally on ZipRecruiter or otherwise, but the hits are quality. These are quality candidates for the most part. Another benefit to LinkedIn recruiting is it's scalable, right? They'll let you do anything from $6 a day to endless amounts of money per day, or you can do it for free. What I love is they also have a 7-day free trial, which you can cancel before you pay for anything on the premium version. So I do have a budget. I definitely use the premium version, but what Shelly and I discovered was that the way the algorithm works with LinkedIn, at least I believe. So here's what would happen. I'd place an ad, I'd get a bunch of applicants first 3-4 days, and then it would die off. But I was still getting charged for the exposure on my daily budget here and there. So I thought maybe my ad's getting stale. You know, I waited like 3 weeks. I closed the job. Makes it very easy to do, by the way. Just close job, done. No more charge. And then you can duplicate job. Very simple. I'll share my screen in case this is beneficial.
I don't want to burn up the agenda here today if you already had a plan of what you were going to do, or if other people have other questions.
Well, actually, I meant for today to be, I knew Betsy was not showing and Steve was not showing, and Dustin had to work today. So I knew we'd have a smaller group, and big groups are tough to do Q&As in. So I thought today would be a great Q&A session, keep it tight. But I could just the same show you privately, Eric. It'll take us like 15-20 minutes.
I don't care how you do it. If you're already recording this, I was already talking to Dustin about this. So if you actually record this and kind of step your way through it at maybe 2/3 mark speed, then we'll be able to actually give Dustin that video and let him crop it and tweak it, and then you'll have a video to just send. We'll all have a video to just send to whoever wants to know.
Well, I'll do a more in-depth one for sure, because who knows if I double time it, how complete I'll be, but I will show you real quickly how easy it is. So first of all, you want to get a personal profile, right?
Done.
So here's me, Mark Newbauer. This is my personal page. I'll minimize these for the moment, but I want to show you that. And then what I like to do when you have a profile, I like to create a business page. So you can go on here and create a business page by going to, and it's from your profile. I just got to look for the link here. Here, create a LinkedIn company page. So you go to business.linkedin.com and just make yourself, look, it says create your page. So you're signed in to LinkedIn, and then you go and create your business page. So once you have that, I've got a couple ones, but I've got the Newbauer Agency here, right? So I go to the Newbauer Agency, And Shelly, you have, see Shelly did a nice one here. Shelly's got the Jackson's agency. So very simple to just go in. Oh, how am I not following you? There you go. So go into your page and create your company.
Yep.
You can look at me and Shelly's and just borrow it, right? So I take a lot of, I like to leverage, right? Leverage is key in building a business. So you're not just reinventing the wheel. So I use a lot of Symmetry's blog posts. I repost them to show I'm active here and there, maybe once or twice a week. My About Us is straight from Symmetry. And I use Symmetry backdrops and all that. The main thing is I think a good page will definitely give you some traction, but just having the page is what you're going to want to have in order to post some jobs. So now you'll see this on your phone. It's different. You'll find it, but on desktop, you go to jobs. And right here, now I have a job. So I go to my jobs. Agency owner. So there's my jobs, there's learning state posts. But anyway, your job's going to be right there. But you'll notice when you click jobs, Eric and everybody, they have, oh, my internet will speed up. Shoot, I shouldn't have gone past that one page. Here we go. So down here, okay, that's it. I'm just going to go back to the drawing board. You guys saw it there. So I go here at the Newbauer Agency. I'm going to go to jobs and they're going to let me, are they? Post a free job. You can see it moving there.
Thinking about it. Does it allow you to assign a different email address to each one of your business pages?
Yes, it does. Well, on the jobs anyway, you don't necessarily need to when you build the page, because they all are connected to your main page.
Right.
You guys think it could be I have too many browser windows open? All right, let's go. I don't think so.
No, you just need a faster machine.
Exactly. So post a job.
Just because the computer can't keep up doesn't mean that you got too many of them.
Well, that's why I'm a little frustrated, because you guys just saw it. So let's go back to LinkedIn. The company page just gives it more credibility. So
Right.
I'm going to go to jobs. There we go. Post a free job pops up right here. So it's free. So you post a free job. Call it whatever you want, right? You could be,
Is
I like
that what we're calling Symmetry now? Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Literally, you could just type that in. Now, what I like is using things that exist on their keywords. So if I type in insurance, there's agent, specialist, broker, manage. At one point, I had business builder. You have to experiment a little, but I like business builder because I want to hire people who want to hire people, right? We're growing an enterprise. So I like business builder. I got a lot of feedback on that one. And it's remote because we work on Zoom. It's everywhere. So I don't put anything there, and it's full-time, part-time, or contract. I like either saying contract or full-time. I recommend full-time because, guys, we all know I've been part-time since day one, but at some point this, and especially at the beginning, this really requires a full-time commitment. You could do it part-time with the right amount of discipline and diligence, but best to hire full-time and not have someone ask, can I do this part-time? Well, sure you can. Here's how. So I'm going to get started for free. Oh yeah, so I do United States.
And that's what I'm typing in
Whole
over
country.
here.
Get started for free. I can't tell you how easy this is. Now you add a job description. Well, where do you get that? You're welcome to go to my page, or just text me and I'll give you mine. But where's
And maybe
mine?
put in there, because I've found out, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that if you don't put 1099 in there, job, when people get on when they get on the pre-screen call, they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. So maybe put in there, licensed agent. They know that it's a 1099, or put commission only or something like that, if that's all you want.
Good idea. I'll show you mine. I don't know why this is on here. This says I applied to this job 9 years ago, but it won't let me get rid of it. So there are things I can't even figure out. But post a job. So if you click on this one, and again, I'll send it to you. I go to manage job, and here's my description. So again, yours may vary. I've over the last years, I've cut and paste different ads I've seen from other successful agencies on ZipRecruiter. Again, borrow, right? From Picasso to Quentin Tarantino, the artists steal, as they say. So I don't like to use the word steal, but if the stuff's out there and it's great, go ahead and use it. And Shelly's right. So I make sure at the beginning of my ad, after my hook, are you looking for a better way, a better leadership, better IMO, better opportunity to grow systematic income and build a legacy? And then I talk about how we do that. Commission only contract position. I make that very clear at the beginning of the ad. And 1099, great to mention, Shelly, if you don't say this, but you got to be bold about it. And what I've learned is if you're going to post a website, which I did, this is the video, only do it once, because they thought I was putting multiple jobs in one post, and they kept shutting down my ads. And I wrote them and I said, if you have a human being look at this, you'll find that it's one job. And they finally let me have it. And I learned this is what was sticking it. So job description, easy peasy. You can borrow mine or anybody's. Now, job description, I'm just gonna put that whole thing in here. Continue. How would you like to receive your applicants? So Eric, this answers your question. You can put your FFN in there, whatever you want, right? That's where your applications will go. And if you look at my email, I don't know what I was gonna say to her. Agency owner, application. You'll see I get these emails, new application, agency owner, new application. I got 3 this morning, right? And they send it right to your email. So then they have, recommended how many, tool or technology. They say business. Well, no, I do sales. This is tool or technology. Zoom is what I put. Sorry, I just crossed that out. But I do Zoom, and then I add business development. I'll add sales. You can add multiple things here. So sales, great. Must have 1 year. I put 2 years. You can add this stuff. I don't do that. If they don't meet qualifications, one question I do have is,
are they in the United
location.
States?
Yes.
That should be one of your number one questions.
Absolutely. And maybe it's because I didn't put enough in the ad, but they normally have that benchmark out. So if not, just do a custom question. Are you in the United States? Do you reside in the United States? And then make sure the ideal answer is yes. And look, this can either be I want to know yes or no, but I don't, that won't stop them from getting a job. Or if it's a must have, they will filter them out. They'll show they applied and they'll say not a good fit. Mm-hmm. And you don't even bother with it. So great stuff there. And then here I go. I'm going to post this job. That's how easy it was. And I can either do it free, or they're going to recommend something. And if I do $26 daily, they're going to say you'll get 17 estimated applicants a month. If I do, 10, I'm going to get, their budget controls how much promotion. We recommend at least 26 based on similar jobs, but it doesn't mean I can't start with 10. You can start with whatever you want.
From my experience with another platform, what's rather odd is they tell you what you're supposed to do, But then
Yes.
if you look at their recommendations and you divide the cost by the number of applicants, I found
get your
that
own
it was
ratio.
smarter to run 3 ads with a lower budget because I'd get 2.5 times as many applicants.
Well, that's great. Go
I
for
don't know if
that.
theirs works that way, but
No, it might. In fact, there is something I was starting to say that you reminded me of that I'll finish. But so here it is, guys. That's it. I'm not going to post this job. So now because I already have a job. So, and here you'll show I've spent $80 so far in my new job. And I've gotten 5 applicants. So they give you the stats and everything. What's great is I get that email, Janine Buono. And this is great. Now watch this. This is how great it is. I see Janine. Wow, she's an entrepreneur. She has her own commercial cleaning service. She's in Ohio. She's been an office manager at some sales offices. Okay, so I'm going to view her qualification or her
Application.
Thank you, Shelley. and here it is right here. Now here's what's great. Wait, here's the guy that applied. I connect with anybody that applies, right? Might as well get those followers. So here's what I love. All I have to do, if I like Janine, I just press message. Now I already told her this, but Janine, I didn't. She's a new one. So look, I didn't make this up. LinkedIn did this for me. Hi, Janine Buono. I reviewed your application for our agency owner job, and I'm impressed with your background. I'd like to schedule a call. Can you share a few dates and times that this was just manna from heaven. You don't even have to think about what to say or how to respond or when. I love this. All I have to do is press enter, which I did. And now she's got that message. So Mark Blocker, who applied this morning, same thing. I just pressed enter. He got this message. I'm available today at 5 Eastern. Lucky for him, I'm available. So I said, I can make that work. Please review this site before our interview. I'm going to call him at 5 today. So that's how easy it is. He's a good fit. Here's not a good fit. This guy's Zachariah Fashion and Badohi, not US. So unfortunately, as much as I may love to hire this person, I can't because of the insurance industry. So they already weeded it out as not a good fit, right? Now, the reason I only have a few applicants here is getting to your point, Eric. So that's it, guys, in a nutshell. What I noticed is after about 5 days, it starts to fall off. So what I've been doing lately that Shelley and I kind of hacked the system here is after maybe a week, a business week, I'm going to close this job. And once you close it, I can go back to my jobs and it'll show it as a closed job. And then all I have to do, I don't know how to get rid of that thing. Then all I have to do, business builder. So I want to close that job. That's the one I put nothing in. So I'm going to close it. But what I can do here is manage job. I don't want to close it yet, but trust me, when you close it, you can then duplicate job. So they will save the job and then you can duplicate the job. So I never have to do more now that I've posted this job once, and you can go edit it and everything else. But once I posted it once, it's done. And I think it's our building's Wi-Fi. This should not take this long to load, but I really just showed you guys everything. So again, if you're going to do it, close the job out after about 4 or 5 days, and then just duplicate it and repost it. You will get way more traction. Dustin, welcome. We're just doing
Hey,
general.
sorry I'm late.
No, it's okay. Betsy is on a recruiting appointment. Steve's on an appointment. We have a lot of people out right now, thankfully working and building their businesses, but we just opened this up to general Q&A, and I just walked everybody through how to do the free posting on LinkedIn. I recommend everybody just take 15, 20 minutes today and create an ad for yourself. You don't want to put money behind it. You can do the free version. And you'll get a couple applicants. You'll see what it's like, and hopefully you get a response or two.
Lowest you can go is $6 a day. So if you want to pay
Thank you.
$6 a day, that's what you can do.
That's right.
Hey, Mark, Mohammed, quick question. I noticed when you were posting and you put at least 1 year experience. What about if you're trying to recruit someone that never been licensed?
Well, I still, this is again, dependent on you, but I still prefer somebody with a little sales background.
Okay.
I like to put business builder in there because I hope I can attract people who want to be, builders of businesses, though it's not a requirement. That one I put a little loose, but I always put Zoom in there as a qualification. Sales I put in there. Team building, leadership,
Okay.
things that you kind of hear as buzzwords throughout Symmetry. Always think about the business you want to build, not the one that you have now, right? Set your sights on what you're aiming to achieve. And in that you will attract the right candidates.
Okay. So basically this is not just specifically for licensed life agents, correct? Okay.
No. Now Shelly, for instance, her initial ad was just for licensed agents.
Okay.
So she's going to get a lot less applicants. But the good news is they're already licensed. So we got Rogel is a new agent of hers who he's in he's in Trinidad right now, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks. And he worked for Wells Fargo and wants to come on board. He's already fully licensed in like 13 states. So you can get specific. Just know that you're going to get a lot less applicants, but they may fit the bill a little more. The thing about going wider, I prefer to go a little narrower, but what I do love about wider is, again, Joe Martinez was working in the restaurants before this. He was not licensed, he wouldn't have qualified maybe for even the sales experience and in some capacity, but we have a major winner. So I also don't like to limit it to anyone. But that's where the power of mixing up your ads is so key, right? Experiment a little, don't experiment too much, but maybe 1 week you want to just go after licensed agents, and next week it's all bets are off, and let's see who comes to the table.
And just because you put licensed agents in there, it doesn't mean that non-licensed people won't apply still.
True.
Okay.
Because I have had that too. Okay. So, and they may not have any sales experience, but they're still applying for a job,
Right.
Gotcha.
So
2 minutes, I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
All right.
what was you going to say, Dustin?
Talk among yourselves.
Well, I was going to ask Mark a question, but that's all right. I'll just say that in my past experience, I tried, I was doing ZipRecruiter for a little while. And I did some advertising on Facebook. And one of the things that we tried a little bit of was running ads specifically to people that I know have done a good job in this business before. So like write an ad that is specifically targeted to people with call center experience, for example, and just saying that, are you tired of being in a call center? Would you like to work for yourself? But I know that because of their experience, they're going to be comfortable making calls. So you might get a little creative and think, who in Symmetry, for example, I say call center because Elijah Carujo worked in a call center before he came here. And so he is not afraid of being on the phone. So you might consider that, like other people in Symmetry that are doing well, that have past experiences like serving in restaurants or managing restaurants or working in call centers or selling used cars or whatever that you might have some common ground with, that you can write a letter to those people saying, let's get you out of the call center and into a business ownership role where you use your skills and talents to make yourself money and do something better than answer the phone, for incoming calls, something like that. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
And then that they're not afraid of the phone, so they don't have to fight that battle.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
especially if you have past experience, like I served in restaurants for years. So I have experience talking to people who are servers. And when we get on the phone, I say, tell me about, you were at Olive Garden or for 12 years. That's amazing. I worked in a similar restaurant. We have some common ground that makes the ice breaking really easy. And then they know I'm one of them. I am like them. they are like me, and now I'm going to share this other thing with them that may be outside of what they've considered before. But we, you know, we're the same still. So it tells them that they may be able to do this if they're willing to do the work. And then I'm not afraid to tell them that this is work. And I don't mind telling people, I have been saying for the last little while that I have had periods of time where I'm doing the work and I was reaping the benefits. And I had times where, like they were talking on the call earlier today, I wasn't doing the work and I reaped those you know, consequences. You reap what you sow, right? And so I can share both sides. I know what it is to be in a feast time, and I know what it is to be in a famine time. And I can tell you that consistency and activity are the things that make the difference.
Makes a lot of sense. It does.
Yeah, that's a great point, Dustin. I mean, guys, it never gets old, but it probably gets old, right? But it's all about persistency and consistency. There is that meme says it all, you know, with the broken elevator. There's no shortcut to success. You got to take the stairs. And I don't, you know, our team is pretty laissez-faire in some sense. We have some people really working the mortgage protection track. We have some people really working the advanced market track exclusively. But whatever the case, guys, consistency is key. And that's what, you know, we're looking to cultivate, which is why at the beginning of the call, Dustin, you missed it, but we were talking about Summit and really, you know, really going all the way with Summit. I don't care if you're just doing annuities, you should still go through Summit, because if you're of a business mindset and a business building mindset, then this is something that, you know, you want to be as close to as possible, because that's what starts the infrastructure. That's what starts the culture. And that's what will eventually allow you to, you'll never be able to sit back per se, and until maybe you become equity partner, things like that. But that's the beauty of growing a business. It becomes new challenges, new work, and new growth. That's what's so exciting about it. But in that opportunity, you know, you will be able to kick back a bit, because you are replicating yourself through the Symmetry system. And that's why having a system, no matter what kind of business you're in, is so important.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And I hope you didn't touch on this already, but one thing I wanted to note about Summit is that initially I thought this is some kind of new Quility U, or it's redundant to Quility U, like the fast track. That's just it's like repackaged the same material. But I went through some of the steps of Quility U fast track last night, and they're completely different. It's totally different. Summit is additional training that you usually got from your mentor, your coach, or on conference calls like the new agent call. That's all been repackaged, but it's now so much more interactive, so much more specific, and comes with a lot of accountability and stuff too. So I think the value of Summit goes way beyond even what we're seeing so far. The value of Summit comes when an entire team has gone through and pushed through as far into their Summit journey as they can. I think we're going to see a synergistic, greater than the sum of its parts kind of reward from our team going through that. So I definitely am 100% on board with the values of Summit.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, this is for anyone that's mentored anyone here at Symmetry, and if you haven't, again, it's free to recruit starting out, guys. Whether you're using Facebook, LinkedIn, or what have you, there are tools out there that are free. If you're brand new, or even if you just feel brand new, I've said it time and time again, and maybe that speaks to my mind at the time, but I would not be here if it weren't for Steve Devine. We may have different career trajectories here at Symmetry, present tense, but when it comes down to it, had I not had just somebody in that room with me dialing every Friday night, Saturday morning, or when I'm driving down to Indianapolis and have a flat tire in the snow, but Divine is texting me saying, "Hey, I just got one, you know, $800 APV." That brought me back to life. I'm like, good, it worked. This thing works, you know, it works. And it kept me on track. So guys, forget about anything you've ever heard or learned about building. Forget about feeling like it's pressure. Forget about any sentiments you may assume or not assume are behind, us wanting to compel people to build. For me, it really comes down to you're doing yourself and another person a favor by simply introducing them to this company. Because the minute you have someone by your side in this company, it brings a fire that I really can't explain until you're there. And then you'll say, Mark, you were right. That's all I can say, because it brings an X factor to your business. That's not easy to put into words. But Mohammed, I imagine you might have a few words about that, having Alice on your team now. So Mohammed, you did not have a team until Alice, is that correct? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I think someone was just at my door. I'm trying to see who it is. Can you be with me for a quick second?
Amazon Prime. Well, he's leaving us in suspense. So we'll let Mohammed speak to this, because Mohammed's been here for, I think, several months at this point, on Betsy's team. Really got into DFL. He started attending our advanced market trainings with William, and has since caught the bug and recruited another advanced markets performer, and her name is Alice Young. Alice has not been on a call yet, but Mohammed, I encourage you to.
Yeah, the Amazon. Huh?
I told you, I knew it. I don't even live there. I knew it was Amazon.
I know.
But no, I encourage you to invite Alice to these calls. I can't wait to meet her, but that's beside the point. I'd love for you to speak about, how long you've been here, when and why you started to build, and what it feels like to have, someone like Alice on your team right now. Has it changed anything for you?
Oh yeah, definitely she has. Well, I've been here since September of last year. And initially I was like, I wanted to make sure I'm here for like 6 months and trying to get my feet wet on this, because I'm coming from a different IMO, just to get the feel of it. And before I start recruiting, and Alice happened to be, I knew her. She's a realtor and also a life licensed agent. So.
Where'd you go, Mohammed?
What?
Shoot, not hearing you all of a sudden. Maybe mute and unmute again. Oh, I'm sorry, Mohammed. For some reason, what did Chris Tucker say in that one? I see your mouth move, but I can't see the words coming out of your mouth. What does he say? I love that rush hour. Yo, your mouth's moving, but I can't see the words coming out of your mouth.
Mohammed, maybe try, if you can hear us, try picking up your cell phone and doing the dial in. Something's up with your microphone.
See, if we had sponsors, this would be a great time for a commercial break. We'll just edit one in for YouTube. Is anyone using any free recruiting tools right now? Free or paid? I know, Shelly, you are, because you and I went through it together. Eric, you've been probably the most successful recruiter on our team in terms of being able to get people through the process of applying.
I'm getting butts through training, but I really need to get heads in the game.
And that's why I'm really focusing on Summit as much as I can. I won't beat a dead horse. I may bring it up here and there, but this week I really wanted to accent it now that, we're out of the Summit. Some people have jumped in, some people haven't, but that Summit, once you go through it, Eric and everybody, I think will be a big relief to you in just how much Symmetry is doing for us as leaders in terms of making sure that those people are onboarded and assimilated properly. I know I've missed out on a few great candidates by simply not giving the right attention at the right time. You learn hard lessons as you come up the ladder here, but Summit will help tremendously. Yes, Shelley.
So I will say this, when I was on it the other day, some of the things that they showed, like I had no idea even existed, which was when you go into the Ninja Dialer and you go down, it's got 3 things there. And the one above Ninja Dialer, it says needs analysis. And it's a paper that you can fill out with all the person's information. And so that was one of the things. And then also you can show somebody in a professional way to show them just like it looks like a regular app, but on your screen. And Edward Pritchett did that. So if you ever get to the inside the Summit there at the beginning, like the 4th or 5th one, Edward Pritchett will show you how to do that. And it's very neat.
That needs analysis. That's great.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Shelley. All right, Mohammed, tell us about your recruiting experience. When, why, and how, and what does it feel like?
Oh, yeah. Well, as I was saying, I reached out to her in a way wherein I was planning to partner with her in a referral program, because Betsy created a realtor referral program. Because since she's an active realtor, I reached out to her about it, and she started asking me so many questions. She was getting tired of the other IMO she was with. She's like, you know what? And bam, she came along. And as a matter of fact, I'm supposed to help her today to do opt. She has 3 more applications she submitted the other day.
Wow, that's fantastic.
You know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the same family. You know,
that's
so
fantastic.
Yeah. You know, so far things are going pretty well.
That's a testament to advanced markets. By no means do I want to take anybody off the mortgage protection track, because that is your bread and butter. That's the transactional revenue. And as Shelley has proven, it's also a great pivot point into advanced markets when maybe you missed the mark on the mortgage protection side. So though, mind you, just a note, mortgage protection leads are excellent DFL and IUL and annuity leads, quite frankly. It's just about how you position that sale. So any other questions? And again, I'm not, no one has done this to date. I'm just saying, I don't want to go all over the place and just add whatever, whenever. So we'll keep this on track. But again, it's a smaller group today, so I did just want to make sure we had some time for Q&A if you guys have anything burning, anything in your way, anything that's super exciting to you that wasn't before. No, okay. So let's get excited, guys.
I'll throw one in there. I've actually some of my rack inspection business is starting to crop up. And the reason why that's a benefit for me is because that's going to give me opportunities to be in facilities talking to people. It gives me an excuse to call all the customers that used to be my install customers. And so I've already got 2 people to get back to schedule a time to explain what indexed universal life is from the 6 calls that I made today. So it's just another opportunity for me to kind of get out there in the world and share the concept. And so I think that as that starts getting bigger and broader, that's going to be one of the networking vehicles. That's
fantastic, Eric. I love hearing that. Because you and I talked about that a couple weeks ago. I mean, guys, if you have another life like Eric does, like I do, maybe you started out part-time here. Eric, if you guys don't know, had a successful rack inspection company, and business owners are prime candidates for index universal life, retirement program, things like that. And even more so, a lot of companies, especially smaller ones, Shelly has learned, my friend Bob Morris has learned, hairdressers and barbers are, I mean, if we were on Family Feud, oh yeah, Mohammed, you too, right?
Yeah,
In Florida
yeah.
or in Maryland. Hands down, if we were on Family Feud, that'd probably be, survey says, number 1 or 2 answer, believe it or not. So though, and massage therapists, like there are a lot of people who work for themselves in a way that we don't think about, that would kill to have a retirement program. That probably think about it on a weekly basis. Like oh my gosh, I'm getting older. I don't have anything in place, you know?
Yeah.
An IRA, Roth IRA, okay, but they have caps, right? They have limits. And an IUL, of course, has limits, but so long as you qualify health-wise, they're far greater than the limits imposed on government produced programs. So
I also learned a whole lot of things about trusts the other day. And that if you do not take your assets and put them into a trust, if someone somehow ends up destined for a nursing home, the government will take all of your assets to pay for your nursing home if it gets to the point where they have to pay for it out of Medicaid. But if you put your assets all into a trust, anything that was in the trust 5 years before, they cannot touch it. They cannot take it away from your family. And I'm actually going back and meeting with this individual again on the 21st. The super cool thing about it, it's an attorney, and their staff was, 2 of their staff were not aware of any relationship that they had with a life insurance agent. So if they're looking for ways to hide money, and they can help us help our clients, and then I can help him help his clients, that is going to be, if that proves true, there's not going to be a estate planning lawyer for counties that's not going to know who I am.
No, you're right. And this is, I mean, you've heard Brandon Nevis say it on our group calls. This is the last known asset of its kind, the IUL. There is not another asset that exists that allowed you to grow money tax-free and then access it tax-free without penalty, right? There's no forced distribution. The benefits are tax-free, and as long as you access it via loan, it remains tax-free. So this is something that people, that especially the wealth-minded are very, very much in tune with, especially the way the economy is going now and the way that it looks like it's going. You're out there saving financial lives by getting this out to as many people as possible. So one thing I'd like you guys to do before we thank you, Dustin. He said, got to bounce, great stuff today. So before we all bounce today, guys, again, I'm never going to tell anybody how to run their business. There's never too little, and there's never too much, certainly, right? So I want you to know this comes from the heart. I'm here to help, but I want you guys to really, if you're so inclined, to look at this truly as a business. Like I said, not the business it is today, but the business you want it to become, and do some homework on goal setting, right? So maybe it's just $5,000 a week in premium that you want to generate. Come up with a number that you can put in your head, that you can put down on paper, that you want to achieve on a weekly basis, and let's reverse engineer that number. Now, there is the new tool inside of Quility U and inside of Summit that allows you to type in the math, right? If you're doing mortgage, bless you. If you're doing mortgage protection, in fact, let me pull it up. I have a sheet I'm going to put in here. I shared it on a Huddle the other day. But if you're working strictly mortgage protection, I have a great, here you go, copy of calculated desired income. Now you only want to change the things in yellow. Do not change anything in white. But I'm going to give you a share to this document. And there it is. There's a Google spreadsheet. And real quick, what it looks like here, guys, if you weren't on that huddle, I think Gene, you might have been on that huddle. I think one or two of you were, but desired monthly income net to you. Let's say your issue rate, that issue rate's pretty high. Let's call well, if you're doing a good job, it's not, but let's just call it, what I mean is field underwriting good job. Let's call it 80% issue rate. Your contract level, let's say you're brand new, you're at a 70%. So they're going to tell you right here, if I want to bring in 15,000 a month and my issue rate's here, my contract level's here. We know your advance is 75%, right? So again, don't change anything in white, but you can play with the yellow, and you're going to need $35,714 in APV for the month to get a $15,000 monthly income. You're going to need to turn in, again, this is based on the averages, right? 36 apps a month. And to do that, let's say you're only closing half of the people you sit with, right? Because we have no shows and everything else. So you can change this. I have it at 50%. That means you're going to sit with 71 people for the month, right? So that's about between 15 and 20 people if you're only getting a 50% close rate, and essentially 143 appointments in a month. But watch how this changes as you're getting your raises. And this is why I want you guys to pay close attention to your calendar when you're writing and turning in business. This just made your job that much easier, right? So in order to get the 31 apps in a month, and mind you, this is mortgage protection and at a low close ratio because Zoom appointments aren't as sticky. But feel free to go in and get that calendar. It's right there in the chat, and you'll be able to do your goal setting that way if you're working mortgage protection strictly. Now, if you are dabbling in advanced markets or even doing it totally, then that's going to be a whole different calculator, and we could talk about setting your goals there based on your commission level. But one of two ways to succeed here, guys, on our team anyway, that we've discovered, because we have people doing it, right? Betsy Barr and Mohammed are setting the path. Like, they've got their machetes out and they're just cutting down the tall grass and forging a path in advanced markets. And we are so grateful to you guys, because this is something that I've had the ability to get into for 6 years, right? 5.5 years now. Didn't touch them until 6 months ago. I wrote maybe 1 or 2 baby IUL apps. But ever since I opened the door to IUL, I just saw how life-changing advanced markets can be for somebody, whether it's DFL, IUL, or even annuities for tax-deferred retirement. And guys, all you got to do is ask the questions, right? Philip Lawton, who's on our team under Jeffrey Miller, on Jeffrey Miller's agency, he simply asked somebody about their portfolio. Well, I don't want to do term. I want to make sure I've got some money in retirement, but I've got a 401k and I want to roll it over. Well, you can't roll a 401k over to an IUL, as we know. You got to withdraw it. Philip doesn't even know that, right? He came to me for an IUL. Will you help me with this client? So he didn't know a thing. The client knew kind of what he wanted. We sat down for 5 minutes with the client and said, look, why don't you give us a beat? We're going to come back to you on Wednesday and we'll have all these questions answered. We found that he couldn't roll over an IUL. We found that a deferred annuity would solve his problem. And does Philip know how to do an annuity? No. Had I done an annuity for a long time? No. But guess what we have at our disposal, guys? The carriers, right? So knowing nothing, we called F&G. We said, hey, we got a guy, he's 65. He's got about $200,000 he wants to roll over into an annuity, and he's got a bonus at work. So for the next 5 years, he wants to put 30,000 in a year. Can he do that? And then we had a list of the client questions. Well, what if he wants to pull it out early? Well, here's the answer to that. He could take 10% of his total amount in there a year for the first 10 years, and then he could start taking income. So my point is, guys, you don't have to know anything. You just have to be bold enough to meet with people, ask good questions, and be big enough to say, you know what? I want to make sure I'm giving you the right answers. So why don't we meet again? But bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. Why don't I get back to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, the same time? We'll have all the answers together, and I'll have an illustration for you. We'll show what it looks like for 100,000, 200,000. Now, again, that sounds scary to you because in the back of your head, you're thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? I don't even know what these are or how to do them. You call the carrier. You can call me, they're just the same, but I'm probably going to tell you to call the carrier, or I'll call them with you, because that's what the marketing departments do for us. They are paid to sit there and wait for our calls and help us do case design, answer questions, overcome, problems or sticky situations. They're there to do it all. Now, legally, they cannot do it in front of a client. So you can't invite them on the call and have them do the work for you. But I guarantee you're going to go from 0 comfort level to about 80% comfort level by the end of that. And at that point, me or your direct will be happy to sit on you with your appointment. Okay. So please come up with an income goal weekly. Make it something just above what you think is achievable, because you always want to strive higher than you think you can. And that'll open up your mind a little bit. And if it's mortgage protection, you got the stats. Get the inventory and dial and help those families that are looking for it. Mortgage protection are mostly people that don't know much about insurance. They waited a little too long to get insurance. They're probably not in the best health. So they've been told no before, right? You're going to run into a lot of that. But, and I know sometimes I've had agents say, well, that's tough for me, right? I'm not compelled to help those people. They didn't help themselves for the last 30 years and they don't seem to care. Okay. But what we're doing is we're caring for the people that they care about, right? Go past the client. This job transcends the people that we're helping to the people that they love. Okay. So it doesn't matter what kind of impairments they may have. It doesn't matter what their financial situation may be. And it kind of doesn't even matter what their attitude is. If they've at least taken the step to fill out that letter, they have somebody they love that they want to protect. And it's our job to love that person as much as we can and adopt that love in helping that client. Because again, we're helping the person beyond the person when we're working with mortgage protection. And you just got to think of that little, 8-year-old boy or girl who maybe is going to be left with no home or a tragically different life if something's not in place. And that's where you make it your mission to help. On advanced markets, we're changing futures, right? We're changing lives while they're living. That's a very exciting prospect. And in that case, guys, again, we don't have leads for IULs currently. I know, we've got the machine that Betsy has in place. If you want to do some case splits and refer business over to Mohammed and Betsy all day long, if you even just run into a prospect and want part of the commission without learning yet, hand it over to Mohammed. He'll do a split with you. He's an IUL expert. And he's actually our Cook Next Steps expert now. So anytime anyone within the agency has something, you refer it over to Mohammed and you have a nice commission split. But beyond that, I've said it before and I'll say it again, because I haven't seen it from everybody yet doing advanced markets. I say it with love, but find yourself 3 guinea pigs. Okay. It starts with at the very, very least, to reach that next step in your career here, find 3 people in your circle that will give you the time of day, 20 minutes to practice on them and lay it out straight. Hey, I'm into a new expansion of my agency. I normally help people with mortgage protection, final expense, and I love doing that. But I'm getting into advanced markets, and it's actually, bless you, it's actually really exciting because I found that it beats a 401k any day of the week. And for people that don't have retirement or savings plans in place, maybe a kid you want to plan for college savings, things like that. I'm finding it's doing a lot of good for people, and I want to do more of that for people, but I'd like some practice. So would you mind sitting with me and letting me go through just a small presentation? And guys, you line that up and I promise it's going to change your life, and it might just change theirs, because the more guinea pigs that you can find in that capacity, the easier and more comfortable this process is going to be. the easier and more comfortable it's going to be like, oh, good. My sister said yes. So how much would you like to save every month, sister? Well, let's call it $300 a month, Okay, great. What year were you born? Because now I'm going to go to F&G and I'm going to call them and say, I have a female. She was born April 12th, 1976. She wants to save $300 a month. How would I design that case? And they're going to screen share with you and they're going to design it with you and for you. And okay, so what should I show to the client? What's the most important thing? Well, here's the guaranteed rate. That's, unlikely, but it's the guaranteed rate. That's hell in a handbasket numbers and the world's in trouble. But page 11 of that illustration will show you what's likely, what we've done the last 10, 15 years of performance. That's what I normally like to show people. And they get to see what their savings look like. And you've now done a full presentation with an illustration. And again, you're not doing this as a swap, but most likely you do enough of those, you're going to have somebody that wants to move forward, because this is life-changing stuff when they see, wait a minute, so if I save this every month, it goes in an index, I get to achieve alongside the market, but I won't lose money. Sign me up. Right, guys? Those of you who have done a couple of these know, they don't ask, how much does this cost? They never ask that. They say, how much can I save? How much can I put in? Sometimes they want to put in more than they can. My sister was my first guinea pig, and they just returned a check to her. They said, you can't put this much in. You're going to hit MEC limits. And she's mad at me. Well, great. Now, what am I going to do with this? So I said, calm down. We're going to call them, and we're going to increase your death benefits just enough to allow you to put that money in there. And you're going to find that your cash accumulation is still more powerful than it was without it. And sure enough, she's thrilled. So, guys, I just want you to know, I didn't know a thing about IULs till I met William. Much thanks to William for opening the door there. And it just takes a little bit of letting go. Let go, let God, as the bumper sticker says, right? But it takes the step in between there is just be a little proactive and let things change here. Because I want every one of you guys to succeed beyond your wildest dreams. And it takes, I don't want any agoraphobics, right? You got to open the screen door and go outside. The sun will not burn you, right? The snow will not freeze you. It's going to be tough some days. You might get a frostbite on your finger or a heat stroke, God forbid. But I promise you're going to be okay in the long run, right? Stay hydrated. How do you do that? You plug into the system. You go through Summit. You show up on the meetings. You participate in band. Celebrate your successes. I got an appointment today. That's a success. I don't care if you sell it. I don't care if they move forward. That's a success. Post it, because you're making a difference for other people on our team and other teams that are maybe scared that this isn't possible. And you just showed them that it is. Wow, I haven't seen Mark post forever, and there he is. He's still in the game. He set an appointment. So can I, right? So take that to heart, guys, and ask yourself, what are the 3 things I can do today, not tomorrow, today, to set my business in a new direction? Some suggestions: read your 10 pages of the book of the month, The Happiness Advantage, right? Go post a free recruiting ad on LinkedIn. Thanks to Eric for bringing that up earlier. Go post a free ad, guys. Facebook, LinkedIn. Go look at Brian Howell's Facebook page. He has a nice little paragraph. Hey, I'm hiring right now. This is what we're looking for. Copy and paste that and throw it on your personal Facebook, right? You may get a bite, you may not. I think people maybe have more friends than I do. I don't get many bites on those, but I get them a few times, and I see other people post them and they get a lot. You never know. Post it, see what happens. Pay attention to your local events. We have one coming up in Phoenix here in late April. Shelly, I know you guys have one coming up every month in Knoxville, Tennessee. Make use of these, find out when they are, and recruit around them. Go post an ad in Phoenix, Arizona, and say, Mark, I got 2 people coming to your meeting in April. Will you go shake their hand? Will you meet them? Of course I will. And I'm going to edify you to no end when I do. Another idea is do the goal setting. Reverse engineer it. I want to make $5,000 next week. How am I going to do that? Well, you're either going to set 3 IUL appointments, or you're going to set 12 to 15 mortgage protection appointments, and make that your goal, and don't turn back. and have some blind faith. I know this is easier said than done. I was financially stressed when I came aboard Symmetry. I had never bought a lead in my life. I didn't even know that they worked or if they worked, but inventory is very important, right? You can't open a widget store if you don't have any widgets, and our widgets in mortgage protection are the leads. So it takes a leap of faith, and it might even take, again, I don't want anybody saying like, Mark told me to max out my credit cards. No, I'm not telling you to do that, but it might take, it might take a personal loan. It might take a credit card, as long as you've got the belief. Go in there and get the inventory and dial. Send those text messages if after triple dialing them 3 times you don't hear back from them, right? Or do like Shelly did. And, oh, I'm sorry you're not interested in that anymore. But that's not all I do. I also help people with savings programs. It's basically a savings program on steroids where you grow the money tax-free and you can access it tax-free for life. Oh, well, what's that? Right, Shelly? Something like that. So be creative, guys. Don't be so creative that you ignore the system. Work the system first, right? It works because it works. Don't change it. But then pivot if you need to. So I'm beating a dead horse at this point. This was a very long Newbauer meeting. I thank you guys all for being here. And if you have any questions, I am here. I'll stay here for another couple minutes. And if not, please go do those 3 things, whatever they may be. All right. Thank you guys. You have a great afternoon. Great seeing everybody.